back here for a new episode of my Mandalorian Rewatch as I get into Chapter 6 of Season 1, which I am very excited to do so. And with Chapter 6 today, which is titled The Prisoner, it is the episode where we travel to the Republic, the New Republic prison, and we get a few cameos in here, which is really, really cool. An appearance from Bill Burr, an appearance from Matt Lanter, who voices Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars, and an episode that a lot of people did not enjoy when it came around for the debut of it last year. I know a lot of people had talked about that when the episode dropped, just because it was a little bit of departure as far as what was going on. It was getting a little bit later in the season, which is why people didn't understand why it was what they call a filler episode. But either way, just very much like last week, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to see how I feel about it. I know that last week we had talked about how that was pretty much the episode that a lot of people, most people claim that wasn't their favorite. And while this isn't not my favorite, I'm going to see if I like it more so than I did the first time watching it. And today, while doing this, I'm going to be, for the very first time, trying a bourbon that I've been wanting to try for quite some time, and that is Knob Creek Kentucky Straight Bourbon, and specifically the 9 year, age 9 years version. So the 9-year-old version is what they call it. You can see it right there, a little older style bottle. If I get my pointing correct, which is that way, get my pointing correct. It's a little older style bottle there. This is the newer version, very cool looking bottle. We see a lot of the shaping with whiskey, but the logo and the coverings is actually really cool. And the cool thing here, so Knob Creek's been around since 92. Funny enough, it's actually the year I was born. Don't come after me because I'm either younger or older than you. But this is also 100 proof, which is a big deal. This is a very, very popular whiskey. It actually comes from the Jim Beam Company. It's one of their major name brands that they have. And so I'm excited to try it because it's not just popular, but it's actually been recommended to me. And it's brand new. I just was given this bottle this last weekend by a buddy of mine as a housewarming gift. And so I'm excited. I'm interested. And I'm very intrigued by the idea of trying these very popular whiskeys because I want to see if they should be popular or not, which is a cool way to cool way to look at it, I should say. And I set myself up here because I took off the wax on the top of it just to make sure I was doing it right before the show. That way I don't make myself look stupid during the show. But I'm excited to try this. And before we do so, let's just go ahead and get into a little backstory about the whiskey itself. And unlike most whiskeys, there's no real breakdown of the whiskey itself here. The original Knob Creek small batch Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey, crafted for superior taste and smoothness, Claremont, Kentucky. Usually most whiskeys have a little bio of themselves on the bottle, but that is not the case here with Knob Creek. And so I'm going to read a little paragraph, I guess you could say, about Knob Creek and the bourbon itself. So it says, Knob Creek bourbon has for some time been a popular American whiskey in the Jim Beam stable. One important consideration of it for many was the age statement, which was set at 9 years. It decided back in 2016 to do away with the age statement because of concerns over bourbon inventory. This decision in 2008 was reversed with word of plans for the return of the 9-year, plus also some limited releases of older age stated knob. Jumping forward to now, and we have a 9-year specific Knob Creek recently returned, joined by as well as a 12 and a 15-year. All have the age statement proudly displayed on the respective front labels. So this is a newer version. This is made in just the last year, or returned in this last year, I should say. And I'm excited because, aged bourbon is a huge deal. It's a big deal. I've had bourbons on here that's been aged for 4 years and even some that have been farther after that. And so I'm excited. I mean, this has been sitting for 9 years, essentially, which is very cool. It's the oldest bourbon I've ever had. And so let's just go ahead and pop the bottle and get some smells in here, get the aroma, see what the nose picks up before I actually taste it. And then just like usual, I'll stop the episode in the middle and we'll do a full-on taste review and breakdown of the actual episode. So just in case, we're doing Chapter 6 today, The Prisoner. I'm currently sitting at the 00 mark, black screen on Disney+. That is a really, really good smelling whiskey. Definitely get that oaky flavor, which I was expecting, to be honest. Very classic. A little maple, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say maple. Okay, yeah, I like that smell. That smells good. All right. A good color, too. Great color. Not as dark, not as light. It's already off to a good start, guys. Thank you to everyone joining me. First of all, if you are joining me, if you're hanging out, put some comments in there if you want to. I know YouTube's been a little wacky today. I was just hanging out with Alex and Molly on their stream, and the comments has been really strange. So you guys might be commenting, and they might not be coming through. So just bear with me while that happens. But yeah, very, very good looking whiskey. And today I have my Han Solo and Chewbacca glass with me. Nothing really points to this episode, so I just grabbed one from the shelf. But let's go and take a sip, and then we'll get going on this episode again. Chapter 6, The Prisoner. Currently sitting at the 0s mark. So yeah, let's see what it tastes like. Wow, that's good. That is smooth. Ooh, you can kind of taste the age to it, which is really nice. All right. So, like I said, we'll get to the full review of this Knob Creek here at the middle of the episode. The episode runs about 40 minutes, so a little lengthy. So I'll stop around 15, 20 minutes, and we'll talk about it. If you guys have comments about the whiskey, please leave them. I'm happy to talk about them during the episode, but I kind of break it up a little bit. And so in the middle of the episode, I'll do a full-on breakdown, my overall thoughts on the whiskey. But for now, if everyone is good, hopefully, because I can't see very many comments if there are any. As I mentioned, YouTube has been very, very strange today. So again, if you are just now joining me, Chapter 6, The Prisoner on the Mandalorian. I got it here on Disney+. I'm going to be pressing play here in about 10 seconds, and then we will go from there. And I will keep you guys updated on where I'm at during the episode. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start this bad boy. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Disney Plus logo's popping up, and we get into the actual recap of everything. We're getting to the nitty gritty here, guys. In this season, we only have 3 episodes left, which is very exciting because it's leading directly up to the premiere of season 2, which I'm stoked about, as many of you are. Let's see if I can see anything on this side of the comments, just in case. Oh, hello, Rachel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. No worries. That is okay. Whiskey's not for everybody, but maybe I change your mind. But no, it's okay. No worries. I will see you back tomorrow, Rachel, on some other stuff for POV and Apocalypse. But thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. All right, we're getting to it, guys. We are 55 seconds in. The Razor Crest is pulling into a hangar at the moment. So that's where we are. And again, look at the visuals. This is one of the better shots I've seen of this season. This is a beautiful shot. My goodness. And this is all on the volume. Speaking of, this is all on the volume. I love the music going on right now. So great. And I'm going to make sure I pull up this guy's name. Because I want to make sure I know his name because he makes a cameo, and here's one of my favorite characters in Sons of Anarchy, Mark Boone Jr. And there he is. He's popping up right now. He plays Rand. That's who I'm talking about. I love me some Mark Boone Jr. I would love to see him more stuff and probably be back. Actually, he won't be back because I believe everyone dies at the end of this episode. Spoiler. I got a heavy maple sensation with this whiskey. Woo! Love the music going on right now. Hunt bounties bringing bounties. He only wants Mando for the ship. Duh. Bobby Elvis, yes, sure. Yes, sir. Sons of Anarchy. What's up, Tom? It still blows my mind that everything behind them. Oh, as Bill Burr pops up, such a great surprise to have Bill Burr in this episode, by the way, and he'll officially be back for season 2. But he's obviously a comedy guy. He plays a great bounty in this episode. But what I was saying is most of the stuff behind them, as they're walking, is, and I know I've mentioned it a million times, but it's all on a screen. It's all on a screen. It's just it's insane. I'm also very glad that they decided to not include Mark Boone Jr. on the mission itself. He's kind of just like, for lack of a better word, he's their pimp, right? Because he puts these guys out on missions, and he stays behind. Team lead, organizer, whatever you want to call him. He would have been out of place. In Sons of Anarchy, he fits well because and then we hear some interesting things about Bill Burr. I know I'm going off topic there, but we hear some interesting about the fact that he was in the Empire, right? Doing some bad things, and now he's picking up bounties, trying to make a living because the Empire is, from what we know, is gone at this point. And of course, Clancy Brown, perfect, just perfect. You can't have Star Wars without Clancy Brown. You can't. You just can't. He voices characters left and right in so many animation shows and movies. What's up, Kylie? Thank you for joining me, Kylie. Appreciate it. You get Zero the droid, and then you get Xeon. I think that's how you say her name. I could be wrong. The devil herself, legitimately. Hello, Mando. Yeah, it's hard, and I'm only what, 6 minutes into this episode, but it is it's hard to get past Xeon. So I'm a fan of Baby Yoda dying or getting eaten. What? Baby Yoda ain't going nowhere, Kylie. He ain't going nowhere. But what I was saying is Xeon was like the one thing that people just were not a fan of in this episode because she was so outlandish. Zero doing a little digging here. As much as people despise this episode about not being in the storyline, and I completely understand because I'm very much on that side. At this point in the season, it should have been veering into one thing. But as a single episode, it's kind of a fun episode. It's fun. It's action packed, which we will see. There's a lot of interesting characters. That's the best word I can use. My favorite episode is episode 3. Oh God, why am I forgetting the name? The Sin, I want to say, is episode 3. It is the episode where he returns to Navarro and essentially steals Baby Yo from the client. Excuse me, the client. And episode 8 is a very, very close second, but I do like episode 3 more. And I'm currently in the run of back-to-back episodes that were my least favorite of season 1. And watching episode 5 last week got me into it a little more. Now I'm hoping this one does the same. such a rambunctious group of characters. 2 aliens, a Mandalorian, a droid, Bill Burr. Very cool looking droid, by the way. You can already see there's tensions between everybody, leading to what happens a little bit later on. Shion, that's her name. Excuse me. Mention of a Gungan. You could tell these guys are as bad as it gets. And now the reveal of the child. It just looks wrong that he's picking Baby Yoda up. Bill Burr's just an evil dude in this show. Mayfield. He just feels evil. They all just feel evil. I know I mentioned this over and over again, but the music is bonkers in this episode. Such a different feel compared to everything else. Oh, the child's dropped. It just hurts my soul to see Baby Yoda dropped like that. Yeah, I can understand why people don't like Shion. It's a lot of it has to do with the hissing. Might have been a little too over the top. But so far to this point in the episode, it doesn't bother me. And I know that I know that it does get worse. I love how we go from this grungy old ship to this pristine Star Wars prison. It's funny, out of all the episodes, this is the one I don't really remember the most. I remember bits and pieces, but I don't think I remember most of like what happens on the inside of the episode. I know there's some really cool action scenes and stuff like that, but maybe it's the one I forgot about the most. Maybe on purpose. Rio's Rio species from Solo. Excuse me, and I'm completely blanking on their species name right now. See, there's more of the hissing. A little mouse droid popping up. The first of this kind of security droid that we've ever seen. They're very capable. Obviously, you can see them deflecting some blasters. And now we see Mando go full Mando on him. It's a dope ass little scene. Ooh, nice. If I'm not mistaken, there's a flamethrower action here in a second. Yup, there it is. Yup. Now they're impressed. All right, where are we at? All right, I'm going to be pausing here in just a little bit, so keep that in mind. This episode's flown by. I will pause in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm currently paused at 1857 is where I'm paused at. Let's talk about Knob Creek, guys. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some Knob Creek. And I want to read this off real quick because I did find a little bit of a better background, I guess you can say, for Knob Creek. So it says, Knob Creek bourbon is patiently aged for 9 years in charred American white oak barrels and bottled at an honest 100 proof. This result is undeniably big, full of flavor that strikes your palate, with layers of flavor and a smooth finish. It's a rich and hearty, the way true bourbon ought to be, offering a damn great bourbon, one sip at a time. You know what? I will definitely agree with that. I think that Knob Creek, if I am being honest, and from what I can remember, and like I've said on the show multiple times, I have a plethora of bottles sitting outside in the kitchen right now, sitting on my bar. And so it's hard to remember exactly which every single one of them tastes like while I'm tasting one. But Knob Creek is actually, at the moment, it's one of my favorites. I really do enjoy this whiskey. I think it not only smells good because, and I've talked about it, when you open a bottle of whiskey, and you guys saw me do it, especially for the first time, you want to open it and you want something that immediately grabs you with a sense of smell. You want your nose to grab something that tells you that this is going to be worthwhile. And when I opened this bottle and I was able to grab those aromas and kind of get a sense of it, it smelt like something that I would like. It wasn't as heavy as I was expecting it to be, which is my type of preference. I don't like things to be super thick or heavy, and I'm thankful for that. I haven't talked a lot about maple on this show. And I know there's hints of it in other whiskeys, but as far as like a forefront flavor, I haven't talked about it. And this very much has not just a maple smell to it, but a lot of the taste as well does kind of go towards a sweeter, smoky maple flavor, which is really good. It's really, really good. And so if you have never had Knob Creek, that's something that you can expect. There's a couple other things in here. I had mentioned, and this obviously comes from the sitting in the barrels part, but the oak flavor, I had mentioned that up top when I had smelt it, not tasted it, but smelled it. There's definitely oak in there, which there's a hint of it, which is really nice. There's also a little bit of a sweeter, fruitier flavor to it. It's very minor, but it definitely comes across enough to where you can taste it, as well as a kind of like a caramel sensation. Again, very small, but it all kind of mixes together into this really smooth, I know that I already said rich while breaking it down, but almost like a wealthy flavor. Like it has this wealth of flavor to it with these mixtures in combination. And I know a lot of that has to do with the Jim Beam brand. They're very popular. They know what they're doing. They have multiple different versions of whiskey that they put out into the market that are very successful. It also has to do with the fact that it's been sitting and aging and just melding all these flavors together over time, and a lot of that packs a punch. It sets up this sip. It said it while I was breaking it down. It sets up a sipping that is full of flavor. And it doesn't ever really hit you, which is nice. I talk about how whiskey kind of has like a kick to it. And that's the point of whiskey. This one has a kick, but it's not like a full-on like sock to the jaw. It's a really minor kick, but it's enough of a kick to really hit you. And it sits with you. And it's not something that lingers too heavily, but it lingers enough to where you're like, okay, I want another sip now. And unlike last week when I was saying about Highland, that it was a little bit of a drier sensation, and as I was talking, my mouth kind of got a little drier. I'm not getting that with this whiskey. I'm not getting that at all. It's much more of a comfortable tasting whiskey. You can sip on it at home while you're watching some shows or sports. You can go to a bar when they're open or safe to be open, and you can sit there and converse with friends or your significant other or whatever while sipping this, and you'll never get a dry mouth or cotton mouth or any of that some whiskeys will give you. And I wasn't able actually to look up if anybody recommends this with like a cocktail. But for myself, just by tasting it, I can say for myself that this is very much just a sipping whiskey. This is enough of flavor, enough, acidity to a drink that it will be satisfying enough over time. It's not something that I need to mix any kind of like old fashioned flavors or just drinks in general to get my satisfaction. Pouring a glass, sitting on the couch, sitting at a bar or table is enough of a flavor to make me satisfied with what I'm drinking. And I'm very happy. I am very happy because I've had whiskeys like this in the past, and I've never been able to come out of it with this kind of result. It is definitely one of my favorites in the moment. And it's instant. I'm talking this way after trying it for the first time in just a matter of time. And so I'm very, very pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoy this whiskey. I want to make sure that I'm not missing any kind of facts for you guys. Excuse my yawning. Work has been a little crazy lately. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it says it right here. As I did my research, the finish is a long and smooth with a kick. But as I mentioned, the kick isn't enough to like kick you in the ass. It's very much just a satisfying kick that will make you want to take another sip. And so, yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. This is the 9-year-old Knob Creek bourbon. They have 12 and 15, which I would be very interested to try because of how different they might taste. Sitting another 3 years, sitting another 6 years is a pretty big jump. But as far as this, first of all, I'm happy they brought back the aged whiskey. That's a huge plus on their part. I know that there were certain rules they had to go around, stuff like that. But this Knob Creek small batch Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey from Claremont, Kentucky, a Jim Beam brand, gets a total plus on my book. This is a bottle that I could really see myself having on my shelf constantly. This will obviously take me a little while to finish. And I'm not going to finish it in a heartbeat or anything like that. I know my buddy Dom, who was in the chat, we're going to probably do something where we kind of mix and match. That way we're able to try a bunch of stuff together. I'd be interested to know if you tried the Knob Creek. I want to know if you've ever had Knob Creek or not and what your thoughts on it, man. I'd be interested to see if we're on the same path there or if you're a little different than I am. But as far as tasting it right now, in the heartbeat of everything, I really, really enjoy it. So if you've never had Knob Creek, I highly recommend. It is not a super strong bourbon, which is the key. A lot of people don't like whiskey because it really is a kick in the ass sometimes, but it's not strong. It's smooth. It's, like I said, it lingers, but it's a good linger. It makes you want to take another sip. It sits there and it just kind of yells at you like, hey, I'm still here. I'm enjoyable. Take another sip. And so I'm very happy about it. Danny, thank you so much for gifting this to me, man. I appreciate it. And total plus on my book, man. Total plus on my book. And so Knob Creek, small batch Kentucky Straight Bourbon, cannot recommend enough. And so go ahead and check that out. You can see the picture right there next to me. I will go and show the bottle near the end as well. But let's go ahead and get back to the Mandalorian, guys. We have probably around 20 minutes or so left in the episode. A little longer episode. I wasn't expecting that. So let's go and dive back into this. Chapter 6, The Prisoner. I'm currently at 1857, and they just entered the control room. And so that is where I'm currently paused at. If everyone is good, let's go ahead and pop this bad boy back on in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And of course, here we do. Here we are. We are meeting Matt Lanter. He voices Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars. So a A person who has a very, very long history with Star Wars. It's pretty cool to see the voice actors get their live action debut in Star Wars as well. None of these people are on the same page. The music behind this scene is just exponentially good. The amount of guns in this situation right now. Oh no. Poor guy. Shion pulling the trigger. She's just an evil mother trucker. Nobody should like her. And he presses the button, and there we go. And let it to begin. Yeah, Dom, I actually looked up the price. $35 for this bottle. $35 for this whiskey. And it could be cheaper elsewhere in different places, but I mean, for this type of whiskey, I mean, it's bomb. I'm sure, I mean, obviously a glass at a bar or something is not that expensive either. Berg just wrecking damage with some droids here. Clancy Brown, again, can never go wrong with Clancy Brown. There we go. Mando not being smart here, should have understood what was going on. But hey, we all know what happens at the end. Zero trying to pull some transmissions together. And let the fun begin. He's so good at what he does. So good at what he does. It's not even fair. Like, legit not even fair. And let the games begin. If I'm not mistaken, we get a super badass Batman-esque scene here in this episode with Mando when the lights are blinking and he's coming around the corner. If I am right, I cannot wait to see this scene again. I might be thinking of something else, but we'll see. I am a little bummed that we didn't get to see Zero in action, but oh, and then here's the child. Everyone's just yelling. These people are so messed up, man. Some evil ass Twi'leks. Such great, just like scene setting with the music and the red hue, just all of it. Tiny playing hide and seek, doing a damn good job of it. Kick his ass, Mando. If that is you in the vents. God, Clancy Brown's so good. Oh, does this actually go down? Is this actually what happens? Oh, nope, never mind. Oh, there's his whistling birds. He's getting his absolute ass kicked by Berg here. What? His species is fire repellent? Oh, I think I remember what happens. Yep. Yep. Oh, just absolutely crushed. I kind of wish they would have shown that, to be honest. Just saying, guys. Again, I don't think I have this either. I need to download this track. Ludwig Göransson just doing wonders with the score of Mando, man. It is just insane. Bill Burr's such a great addition to Star Wars. I can't wait to see him back in season 2 in whatever kind of capacity he is. I don't know how he's going to fit in. I'm excited to see it, though. Ooh, she got him. And he got her. Not like actually dead, but you know what I mean. Oh, I think this is the scene. I think this is the scene I was talking about. Yeah, it is. Yes. 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 Oh, so good. So good. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's great. Mandalorian is 100% that type of character. Yet they're not dead, though. It's so funny because when I originally had seen this episode, I thought, and this is just me going to actors that I know, I had thought that this was played by Toby Kebbell. It not only sounds exactly like Toby Kebbell, but he also kind of has the mannerisms, and he's actually played by Ismael Cruz Cordova. And let me see if he is in any kind of other stuff. Oh, he's in Mary Queen of Scots, a show called Berlin Station, The Catch, Ray Donovan. Not a known actor, but oh look, he's about to use the Force. He's like, what did I do? But thank goodness Mando got to him first. It's funny, if you listen, it almost sounds like the child has his own little theme going on in the background, which is just great. And that theme kicks in. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun. And there he can see the X-wing starfighters coming in. Ooh, Mando setting him up. Again, guys, the visuals. And Mark Boone Jr. thinking he's going to be able to blow it up. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. It's a dope ship, though. I'll say that much. I would love to see that ship in action. Set him up. Squadron coming in. See ya. And if you don't know who those three are, for those of you watching, that is the Clone Wars and Rebels creator, writer of The Mandalorian and director of Episode 1 and Episode 5, Dave Filoni. Director of Episode 2 and Episode 6, so this one, Rick Famuyiwa. And Deborah Chow, who directed Episode 3 and Episode 8, and who will be taking on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series for Lucasfilm here in the near future. So those are all creators in Star Wars who cameoed as X-Wing pilots, which is really, really cool. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they probably shouldn't have happened. But it's so quick of a cameo, it didn't even matter. Like, who cares? You wouldn't be saying the same thing if it was some big-name actor. Like, it's just the creators of it. Who freaking cares? They wanted to be involved. Let them be involved. That's what Star Wars is about. And here we see that they actually aren't dead. They're all just alive. You know, just trapped. Zero's the only one that died, actually. You know, so. Well, and Quinn and Ran, I think his name is. Ran? Mark Boone Jr. I think his name is Ran. There you go. Directed by Rick Famuyiwa. Yeah, I will say this. It's funny because I would probably say that out of the 8 episodes, there's really only one episode I would kind of consider like a least favorite, and that's episode 5, the one that we had watched last week. The rest of them, I mean, I like. I don't really have like an issue with most of them, if any. This one probably being on the bottom half about as far as like what I like for the whole season. But I enjoy parts of the episode. I like the cameos, right? It's an episode full of cameos, right? You have Matt Lanter, who I've said does Anakin Skywalker. You have Dave Filoni, Rick Famuyiwa, and Deborah Chow. You have Mark Boone Jr. popping in as a director. You have Bill Burr, who is officially coming back as a reoccurring character with Mayfeld. But as far as Shion, and I mentioned Clancy Brown, of course, appearing as Berg. Now that they're locked up, I suspect that we'll probably see the three of them again in season 2. If Bill Burr's coming back, I would imagine the other two are probably coming back as well. If not, I'm interested to see how they explain that. But Shion is played by Natalia Tena. And if you don't know who she is known for the Harry Potter universe, where she plays the character of, if I can find her name, where is her name? I think I scrolled past it too far. She plays the woman with the purple hair, and I'm completely forgetting her name because I'm not the biggest Harry Potter person. Oh goodness, this is great radio, guys. Here we go. Tonks. She plays Tonks in Harry Potter. So that's who she plays in Harry Potter. So she actually, in that world, she's a well-known name. But in Star Wars, appearing as someone new and a vastly different character. The hissing definitely gets old a little bit. I will say, after seeing it a second time, it's not as heavy as I expected it to be and remember it being, which I'm excited about because it made the episode a little bit more watchable for me. But as far as an episode goes, I really enjoyed it. But I will say today's winner is definitely Knob Creek. Today's winner is definitely Knob Creek. Out of the two, today's winner is Knob Creek. It takes the prize handily. It is a great whiskey. It's full of flavor. It's smooth. It's rich. It's exactly what you're looking for in a good bourbon. And like I had mentioned, it is well worth the price. It is not expensive. It is, around the price of other whiskeys, and it's better than those whiskeys. And so if you've never had Knob Creek, I would highly recommend, because it is also a 9-year aged whiskey, which is a big deal. You can taste that in the whiskey, which is big. And so I highly recommend, guys. It's right there. That is the bottle. I'll go and pull up my bottle, and it's right there. There's the actual, but if I can get it straight, there we go. That is the actual bottle itself. Looks darker on screen here, just how the camera's working, how my lighting is at the moment. I don't have my ring light up, but that is the bottle. You can see my backyard in the background. So yes, Knob Creek is definitely the winner, but Chapter 6 better than I thought it would be. Chapter 6 is better than I thought it would be. Better the second time around after knowing and going and expecting things. So yeah, if first of all, thank you to everyone who's been hanging out with me for this episode, live or back on the replay. I really, really appreciate it. As I mentioned every week, everyone, if you have, by the way, the flashback episode was epic. Yes. Kylie, you are correct. And I think, oh goodness, what episode is that? I think that might be episode 2 or 3, one or the other. I'm not sure. I know we got flashbacks here in 7 and 8 as well. So you might be talking about that one, which I will be doing 7 next week and 8 the week after. But stay tuned because Squadrons comes out this Friday, guys. And I might just stream Squadrons next week as an episode instead. And so stay tuned for that. But of course, I'll still be talking whiskey and everything like that. So as I was mentioning, thank you to everyone who has been hanging out with me for the past hour, whether it's on live or back on the replay. I appreciate it for the comments. You guys are awesome. I do this just to hang out and talk whiskey, talk Star Wars, all that type of stuff. And for you guys to be involved with that as well, it makes me feel good. So I'm happy to do that. If you have not already, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. Follow me there on YouTube and on Twitter as well, which is right below at Qui-Gon Jake right there. 2 N's because someone took it before I did. And then just a little preview. If you're interested, go ahead and go follow me on Twitch. It's the same name, at Qui-Gon Jake. Go follow me on Twitch. As I mentioned, I'm probably going to be streaming Squadrons here in a little bit, among some other games that could possibly be played as well. I'll be teaming up with my buddy Brian, who I do all the podcasts with, so we'll kind of be flipping back and forth on some other channels. And so check out that. And of course, Twitter is where you can usually find me. This episode also goes up on audio if you're interested in audio, but I always recommend it's much more of a video-centric podcast. So go ahead and stay tuned on YouTube. But for now, again, thank you to everyone for joining me. Hit that Knob Creek. Go find it at your local grocery store if you're interested. I definitely recommend it. It is worth the price. The taste is pretty much out of bounds, if you will. So Again, this is the Whiskey Jedi podcast, and this is the Whiskey Jedi. So thank you so much to everyone for joining me on my Mandalorian rewatch. We got 2 episodes left, people. 2 episodes left. We are getting to the nitty gritty. We are getting to episode 7 next week, episode 8 the week after. And then the Mandalorian season 2 is right around the corner. And I'll probably be doing watch alongs for those as well. So stay tuned for that. If you guys are looking for anything, if you want me to talk about anything, leave me some comments. I don't know what you guys want me to talk about or do unless you let me know. So go ahead and shoot me some comments. I'd really appreciate that. But for now, this is this week's episode. And as I've already mentioned about a dozen times, thank you so much for joining me. So I will see you guys next week on either Wednesday or Thursday, more than likely Wednesday. My schedule's been doing some flip-flopping, and it's either Wednesdays or Thursdays, but more than likely Wednesday next week. So I'll see you for Wednesday next week. Again, this is the Whiskey Jedi. I am the Whiskey Jedi, Jake Berlin. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next week, and may the Force be with you.